Hey, what's up, YouTube? I am Jimmy Sequence, and I'm actually making this short video to do another review because I said I was gonna do a review on the CVR 4302 after extensive use. I made the first review video when I first got the amplifier, after playing it like once or whatever, and I said I was gonna do a follow-up video. Well, I have had this amplifier now for a while, probably a year, going on a year, and I've used it extensively now because we have the sound system roll call, so I get to use the amplifier quite a bit. And I can tell you, I am more impressed with the amplifier now than I was when I first got it. Because when I first got it, when I did that review, I'd only tested it in the garage, so I didn't really actually, have a full feel of the amplifiers. But now I can tell you that this amp is probably the best amplifier on the market for the money. I'm saying that just like that. I mean, the AD60 is a good amplifier. It's the AdMarks AD60 is a good amplifier. It's got a good 1400 watt less watt per channel. So I'm giving the CVR the edge, and the CVR plays smoother in my opinion. So you can disagree if you want. My opinion is I prefer the way the CVR plays, especially on bass. The only issue, which is not really an issue, CVRs, generally speaking, requires a lot more power than most of those amplifiers. They're very, very power hungry. If you try to play the CVR from a 20 amp breaker, if you're playing top ends, it's fine. High mids, horn, tweeter, 20 amp breakers will work fine. On the low mid, you need at least a 30 amp breaker, because that's what I use on my low mids. 30 amp breaker. Low and high mid, 30 amp breakers. I had a 30 amp breaker on the 4302, the bass amplifier, and you can't really crank those things up on a 30 amp breaker. Even the 3302, because I remember I played in Belgrade at the Mother's Day thing, and I was using 4 of the 3302s on the bass, and on a 60 amp breaker it will not happen. You need to have good set. I had to disconnect from the 60 amp breaker and go directly to the generator to get this amplifier to perform as they should. So they are more power hungry than the AdMark. I'm pretty sure of that. They're more power hungry than practically any of the amplifiers, but they are, once you give them the power that is required, they are seriously wicked. So if you're having problems with it, it's probably because you're not giving it enough power. Because like I said, I put 30 amp breakers to play each one of the amplifiers, and it wasn't enough for the 4302. I had to, every time I cranked the bass, it would chip the 30 amp breaker. So I put 40 amp breakers in it, and now I'm good. So each one of my bass amplifiers are playing with their own individual 40 amp breaker, and I have had no problem with that. That stays solid. You can crank that thing as much as you want. So far I've only been using one amplifier on, because I'm only playing like 4 W18s on the amp. So I'm playing it at 2 ohms and a 40 amp breaker, and it works. It's worked so far with no problem. So yeah, my review, my thing on the amplifier after extensive use, solid. The CVR 4302 is extremely solid. You can crank this amp, you can shake the place down, and still it's not going into any kind of clipping. It's just green and solid the whole time. Yeah, you don't see no red lights, you don't see no peak lights, you don't see it's solid. You can play this amplifier at a level that makes you uncomfortable to stand around it, because that's kind of what's been going on. It will shake you up. It'll make you feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. Actually, that's what people say. And all of that without going into no peak, no red lights. It doesn't peak out. It doesn't, it's solid. It doesn't even go into yellow. It stays green. You understand? So I set it at 12 o'clock. The volume knob is set at 12 o'clock. You kind of, the little dip switches on the back, you can put those, I think it's minus 10 or something. I'm not 100% sure, but you have to adjust the little dip switches in the back and set it at 12 o'clock. That's where I set mine actually. And I'm only using the Cosmo and the EQ on the bass, and I am loving the amplifier. The amplifier has performed tremendously for me. I have had no problems with it. I've had a couple of people who went out and buy it based on my recommendation, and I've never heard anyone complain about the amplifier doing anything but what's expected. So I know people that have the Admark AD60 that went and buy the CVR, so that should tell you something. It's a really nice playing amplifier. But as we know, the amplifier by itself is not really everything. Amplifiers are good, but you have to have good speakers, and you have to have good speaker boxes, and you have to actually tune it properly to have it play properly. So we're not going to pretend like the amplifier is the only thing in the chain. It's just one link in the chain. The amplifier has to be backed up by good speakers and good speaker boxes, and it has to be tuned properly to play properly. So it's not the amplifier by itself that is creating whatever sounds you're hearing, but the amplifier has to be a solid link in the chain. It can't just be some little weak link amplifier. If you want it to play a certain way, you have to have an amplifier that can reproduce what you want. And the CVR 4302s at 12,400 watts per channel, I believe, at 2 ohms, delivers everything I need it to deliver. Yeah, I have 3 columns, so that's 12 W18s, and the CVR 4302. I've never actually played the whole sound system, but I have the CVR 4302s for it. So whenever I get a chance to play all 3 columns, then I'll obviously make a video and put it out there for you guys. But yeah, and again, I'm not getting anything from CVR. So before you start thinking CVR must be paying him, no, I don't get anything from CVR for free. Anything that you see on my sound from CVR was paid for 100%. I don't even get real discounts from CVR. I got the CVR blank plates that says CVR. Helen sent those to me, but other than that, I have to buy my amplifiers. I have to buy everything from CVR. So I'm saying CVR is a good amplifier because I like the amplifier myself personally, and it's performed well for me. So it's not an endorsement because I'm getting paid to do it. I'm endorsing the amplifier because I like it personally and I use it. If you look at my rack, you will see my rack is full CVR. I'll insert the rack in the video. It's full CVR, and I have no problems with the CVRs whatsoever. Alright? So again, big up yourself, and thanks for watching. Thanks for the feedback actually. Like the video that I just did, I got so many feedbacks on it. It's cool. So if you want to comment on this video, just jump in there and let me know. Let me know if you've used the CVR, if you've used any CVR. Let me get your opinions on CVR personally. Let me get your opinions and a comparison, because I want to do the comparison between the 4302 and the AD60. My friend have the AD60. I think I'm going to hook up the 2 of them and do a side-by-side test. But yeah, anyone that has the CVR 4302 and the Admark, let me know what you think of the amplifiers comparison. Has anyone ever done a comparison? And let me know. Alright.
Broken-hearted sound boy, toiling in the day and soul. A disappointed sound boy who has no double plates at all.